My name is Raeesah Noor Mahomed and I am a 19-year-old intersectional activist from South Africa. Why I call myself an intersectional activist is because I believe that everything is connected and should be treated as such. And when it comes to addressing problems, I believe that they cannot be looked at in isolation. They need to be looked at in the context of each other. So when coming up with solutions and finding solutions, we can ensure that nothing and no one is left behind. We can use the idea of intersectionality to understand how gender equality impacts climate action. As many of us know, the climate crisis is going to be felt disproportionately, with the most vulnerable people in society being most affected. And even within marginalized groups, women are still more vulnerable as a result of gender inequality that exists within the system. We live in a very unequal system, and when coming up with solutions for any issues, this inequality needs to be looked at and addressed. And when it comes to climate action, while we look for solutions for the climate crisis, while we fight for climate justice, we also need to fight for system justice. And because the system we live in is unequal, this includes fighting for gender justice. If we look at the existing power structures in most governments, businesses, and organizations, and we look at the people who have the most power, the people at the top, it is largely made up of men. What governments, businesses, and organizations can do to ensure that women are leading climate action is dismantling that power structure that exists in most of them and diversify, ensure that the people in power are not just the same type of people, the same group of people. Ensure that many people are involved, included, and represented. Because if the people in power are men, people who are not going to be as affected by the climate crisis as vulnerable groups, marginalized people are, how can they be making these important decisions? How can they be given the power to make decisions that affect the most vulnerable when they aren't actually part of the most vulnerable groups? And so what governments, businesses, and organizations can do is look at themselves, look at their own power structures, and start to change and dismantle and rearrange the way things work and ensure that representation is a priority. And I think once that is done, we can really take steps to ensuring that no voice is left behind.